Hi, everyone. This is Jamie Broderick from Network Now and White Glove Publicity. And today I'm here with Karen Hluchan, one of my premium members of Network Now. It's one of the benefits I give my members is more eyes on their brand and their business. How are you, Karen?
I'm doing great. And how are you, Jamie?
Excellent.
Good.
So I'm going to be doing lots of the questions and she's going to do lots of the answers because I don't know too much about her industry. Karen is a spirit medium. Is your company called Healing Spirit with Love?
Yes, it is.
Yes. And how do we find you online?
You can find me at www.healingspiritwithlove.com. And I'm also on Facebook.
You're so cute. You don't have to say www anymore.
All right. But also on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Blab apparently.
All right. I put it in your link. At that big World Wide Web thing. All right. Cool. So, Karen, let's see. I have some questions for you.
Okay.
Well, first of all, who are your clients? Who do you work with? Do you work with groups or one-on-one?
I do both individual and group readings and also extremely large scale readings as well. It's called gallery style readings where you could have an infinite number of people, but the largest reading that I've ever done was for about 85 people. Now, not everybody receives messages from their loved ones in spirit when I'm doing a reading that large. However, people benefit from hearing all of the messages that are coming through. The loved ones in spirit, they always bring something through that's educational, even helping people to understand the signs and messages that they're bringing through to people every day, which is amazing. But yeah, I do individual private readings and group and both spirit medium readings in which I communicate with loved ones in spirit. And also I call them angel readings where you have the opportunity to ask questions about your life, and I ask your guides and gals in heaven for the answers.
Okay. I have a question for you. How do you overcome a lot of people probably haven't experienced anything like this, so therefore it can't be real because in their reality it hasn't happened. So how do you overcome the naysayers? That's what I'd like to know.
Well, it's interesting because I always believe that everybody has their own opinion about whatever it is out there in life. And if people are really, truly super skeptical, there are times that no matter what I say, or no matter what I do, or no matter what their loved ones in spirit bring through, they're just not going to believe. And that's something within themselves. And that's okay. And then I also have people who come to me for a private reading or they come to one of my events. And I actually do a lot of events where I give mediumship demos where people for free can see what I do. So I do that so that they can see how it works and it gives them an opportunity to make an informed decision.
I would think
nice.
gallery style would be an amazing thing to watch as a kind of an intro.
It is actually, I find it fascinating even when other mediums do it. I love doing it too, because when you do a gallery style, there's always a series of themes that come out that bring the people together. I do an evening with spirit every second Friday of the month in Horsham, Pennsylvania. And I absolutely adore the themes that come out. One of the ones that I did, it was half of the room had people that had passed from lymphoma, which is a blood cancer. The other half of the room had people that had passed from, they had like mysteries surrounding their deaths. The room was equally divided. It was absolutely amazing. And the people that had the mysteries got the answers that they were looking for about what had really happened. But it just amazed me that half of the room had lymphoma, the other half mysteries. And each month is different. I never know what it's going to be. Right. So I'm always fascinated too by the way it works.
Work. Rhonda Hepburn is on. Rhonda, you're welcome to join on camera at any time, by the way. If you want to say hello, ask a question, make a comment, it's up to you. And that was Maribel behind me. Hi, Maribel. So what happens when we cross over into heaven?
First and foremost, once we have people that when our physical body expires here on earth, we do have loved ones that do greet us and help us to cross over to the other side so that we are aware that, yes, our physical body expired and now it's time to go to the next part of your journey. So you're done here with earth and now you're moving on to the next level. And a lot of people refer to that as heaven, and I do as well. So once you get across, there's I do call it a tunnel. It's a gateway where we go through, and it is a very, very personal journey in which you are reviewing your life, and it's one-on-one thing. It's something that you do just between you and higher powers. And in that review, what we talk about is, it's also the title of my book, which is called How Have You Loved? It is the big question that we're asked. How have you loved? And it's not just how you've loved others in your lifetime, but also yourself. And a lot of people forget that. So once you get through the review and everything with your life, and you have a higher understanding of why you behave the way you did in this lifetime and the reason why other people behave the way they did, then you have this great big celebration with all of your loved ones up there. And it's absolutely amazing because it's so nice to be reunited with them. And you also get to begin the process of creating your own heaven. Everybody's heaven is going to look exactly the way they want it to look.
So this is not just a religious belief that
Oh, no.
makes people feel better.
No,
about
no.
death. Because
No.
death is one of the things people are more scared of public speaking, but death is next in the line.
Well, and death is really just a transition. It's a transition to the next world, the next dimension. And I can say with absolute certainty that it does exist because I communicate with people's loved ones every single day from the other side. They bring through information that I would never know personally for my clients and even for my family members. I do readings for my mom, and they bring through things that I have never been privy to, but only my mom and whoever's coming through would be privy to.
Okay,
it's not like
share with
I would
me
know
how you get the information.
Okay. And I tell people it's not as easy as a fireside chat where your loved ones come through and they tell me everything I ever needed to know about you and everything you've ever done. It's more complex where they will use all of my senses to communicate across dimensions. So I will see images in my mind's eye. So they'll be projected a little bit out here, and I will see images of them close to the time of their passing, what they look like. And they'll send me images that are memories, something from the past that will help you to identify and validate who they are. They also sometimes send images that have to do with something you did this week to let you know that they were there with you. And sometimes they give you information for the future in the visions. They also send words, phrases, streams of words, even sound effects sometimes. So, so far we have the seeing and the hearing piece. Then you have physical indicators that they give me about how they had passed. So if someone had passed from, say, a heart attack, I'll feel that in the region of my heart, just a little pressure or a tiny bit of pain. I know it's not my pain. I know it's theirs. I have learned to discern the difference between the two. They also give a feel for their personality. So, I tell people, pay attention to the way that I'm speaking, the way that I'm sitting or standing, because a lot of times it's your loved ones kind of showing through me how they were in life. They're doing everything they can to try to help you to identify who they are. And then sometimes too, they'll bring through taste and smell, which those are fun. They will do those for you anyway, where you may be in a room somewhere and you might smell, say, someone's cologne that reminds you of your grandfather. They do all of that and piece it all together. And in the meantime, while they're sending the information, I'm asking them 50 questions. I'm saying, okay, so what did you look like? Where did you grow up? What did you do for a living? Just 50 questions. I keep asking many different things to help to bring information to the person that's sitting for the reading to help them to piece together and figure out who it is that's coming through. And then once we've done that and identified them, that's when I can share the message from them. You have to identify who it is before the message can be shared, because otherwise it won't make sense.
Okay.
It's amazing. It's really amazing. And it's very abstract. It's like a puzzle that needs to be put together. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's cool. I was never into the spiritual side of things. I'm this tough Jersey girl, But after my mother-in-law died, I had these experiences. I was so close to her. She was like my mother to me. And literally that when she died, I was all the way across the country in California, walking around my favorite lake. And all of a sudden I think I've told you this story. I was overcome with emotion and the lighting changed and I was just so overwhelmed. I started to cry for nothing. Like,
and I don't think you cry easy, right?
No, that's not true. I am soft inside. But I was like, what is happening? I got on a plane, flew home, and they landed and I was able to use my phone, I listened to my messages, and there was a message that my mother-in-law had passed away. I was like, no way. It was
and it totally explained why you had that experience. And it might have even been her coming around you, just letting you know that she was crossing over to the other side.
She was always very thoughtful. She always told all of her grandkids that, don't cry for me when I die. I'll be up on a cloud watching over you. She always made it okay. Like, it's gonna be fun.
And they really are. And I tell people all the time that, people say, oh, well, if they're visiting us here, I mean, are they really in heaven? I said, yes. Time runs differently down here than it does up there. And there is no equivalent that I have figured out yet. But they do come down and visit us on this plane. And they will do things to get your attention and let you know that they are around, whether it's finding the pennies from heaven or you're seeing a lot of cardinals or birds. My dad is very, very creative. He's in heaven. He is always very creative with the way that he communicates with me. And every time I do an event, in some way, my dad lets me know that he's around. And it could be that I see an image that has to do with steam trains because my dad loved trains. Or it's a Maryland license plate. My dad, one of his favorite places to go was Ocean City, Maryland. Another time I was at Peddler's Village, actually. And they usually have a lot of dogs around Peddler's Village. It's a nice tourist area. And that day, there was only one dog I saw, and it was a Dalmatian. And my dad used to be a firefighter. I said, oh, that's so funny,
Yeah.
Or, I did a group reading one time and a lady introduced herself and she said that her name was Clarice. And she said, like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And I said, oh my God. I said, that's a sign for my dad. His name was Rudolph. That is not a common name.
How do you know when it's a coincidence and when it's a sign?
There are no coincidences. That's how you know.
Okay.
There really aren't.
All I know is somebody up there has gotten me out of a lot of speeding tickets.
That's good.
Like
That's good.
I'll have my cop dar on. I'll be like, I know there's a cop over there.
Lucky you. This is good. This is good. And, and it's funny because, everybody has this gift to some degree. Some people can feel their loved ones. Sometimes you sense things with your intuition. Some people can hear. I had a gentleman this past week where I said to him, did you experience your daughter saying daddy to you? And she, as an adult, would even call him daddy. And he said, it was 2 days ago. I was sitting on the couch and I heard her say daddy in my ear. And I said, well, she was telling me that she had said this to you. And, she was definitely, my age, which we don't have to reveal that, but she still called him daddy. And he heard her in her voice, in his ear. Yeah, sometimes you get messages and it sounds like it's coming in your own voice, but it's a thought that hasn't originated from you, and they never give you anything that would tell you to hurt yourself or anybody else.
So do you have experience where they're not just showing up and slamming a door like in the movies?
Yes.
But it's more like they kind of create your reality for you. They guide things in a certain way. So like we're just like adopting my daughter Alyssa, for instance.
Yeah.
It went so smoothly. We're like, somebody had to have their hand in this because nobody has had it this smooth. There's always ups and downs and emotional and stress, and we're going to lose the baby, or they do lose and it was so fast and so perfect. But then also finding my puppy, it's like, and the name, my mother-in-law's name, we called her Ellie. And we wanted a dog, and we were on this waiting list forever for a dog. And you always get a 1.5 or 2-year-old dog from the Guiding Dog Foundation. Always. Because they go through training and then they chase leaves or something, so they get thrown out because they can't help but to save the person if they're going to take off after a leaf. So we finally get to the top of the waiting list after a couple of years, and the dog that's up for adoption is a puppy which my kids really wanted, and the dog's name is Ellie.
Yeah.
That's weird. It's like,
Well,
okay.
and again, there are no coincidences. Our entire lives are not pre-scripted. We do have free will. We do have contracts, soul contracts that we've agreed to have certain things happen down here, certain lessons that we learn. And I will say this, though, I don't believe that the way that they will be occurring here on this earth is not necessarily determined until we're down here, because they need to orchestrate everything. And I think, too, if we knew exactly how everything would happen, that we wouldn't come down, because we've had some really hard times down here sometimes.
Yeah.
But our guys and gals in heaven, they are allowed to help us. They are allowed to help us to make our lives easier. And one of the things that I try to teach people is how to recognize those signs that they give us and to understand the messages, and even being grateful for those times when the dog shows up with Ellie as the name, and having everything go easy with your daughter. You are right in that they do have a hand in that. It's absolutely amazing to me how I can see how they facilitate everything to put these amazing coincidences together that are not really coincidences, but like a miracle.
Cool.
It's absolutely amazing. And it happens every day, all the time. And the more that you are aware of it, the more amazing your life can be.
Right, if you're open to it.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to join us. Let's see. I think she's gone. Eileen Morris White.
I'm here.
There's no video, though.
I'm trying to. I never did this before. Oh, turn
well,
camera
thank you
on.
for joining us.
Yeah. It would be better if we saw you. There's a question here from Laura. It says, where do sacred contracts come into play? I don't even know what that is, so you'll answer that.
Yes, and that's the soul contract. So before we come down to this earth for this lifetime, and we do live many lifetimes, but before we come down here, we look at all of the lessons that our souls have already learned, as well as the ones that we still need to. And we select them almost like a syllabus, where we select the different courses that we're going to be taking. And that's how they're selected. And we also get together with our soul groups, which soul groups, our most immediate one is our immediate family. And the largest soul group would be the entire world, but even coworkers can be soul groups and things like that. When we are deciding on the lessons that we would like to work on, we do volunteer to help others with theirs and vice versa. So all of this occurs right before we come down to earth and are born again here.
Wow. Does that answer your question, Laura? Eileen,
yes.
See. We can hear you. We can't see you, but.
How do I do it?
It just says it's a poor internet signal, but you can talk. It's fine.
Okay.
Awesome. How you doing, Eileen?
Good. How are you? I love Karen.
Thanks, Eileen.
She was great. I saw her at Peddler's Village, and she was wonderful.
Oh, thank you. And that was for one of my mediumship demos?
Yes.
Awesome. Awesome. Do you remember any of the things that had happened that day with the people coming through?
Yeah, there was one older gentleman you had there, and you knew things like where his father worked at that chip company that I was surprised with. You knew a lot about
Charles'
his father's background.
Right, Charles Chips. I remember that gentleman.
Yes.
Yeah, and they really do bring through a lot of detail. Last night I was doing an event in Doylestown, and I kept picking up on a woman that was not born in this country. And by the way, I do hear people who speak another language. I hear them in English. It's automatically translated for me. And I do pick up on pets as well. And yes, I hear them in English. It's not, roo, 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 roo. I hear them in English. It's great. But I kept on picking up on a woman that was from Europe, who had come over, and it turned out to be a grandmother for the one woman here. And then I had another grandmother coming in, and I kept picking up on, oh my goodness, this woman's from Brooklyn, but she too spoke a foreign language, and she was from a different place. And they actually gave me the location in they told me Brooklyn, and I heard that in my ear. I love it when they get that pinpointed, where they say, this is where she was from, They'll show me what the house looked like when they were growing up. It's absolutely amazing. And I've never seen this stuff. I'm meeting these people for the first time. I don't, I just learned their name, and I find it absolutely amazing.
So this never freaked you out when this started happening to you?
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. I was born like this. And for me, I mean, it was kind of my norm to talk to them and to be able to feel them. I will say the first time that I saw spirit in a fully manifested form as a ghost, it was my great grandmother, and she was standing in the doorway in my bedroom. Now, I wasn't freaked out by her, but with hearing things from other people and things like that, you kind of wonder if you're crazy. Mm-hmm. It's a natural thought, but as I learned more about my gifts and I really woke up to the fact that I am a medium, now I realize this is amazing information that brings a lot of healing to people. Some people see it as an entertainment thing, and it's really not. It's really about healing and love and compassion and helping you with your life.
I love that. Helping you get over the grief, perhaps, or the loss. Yeah, I love that.
Yes, and even a fear of death, or even say there was a breach in the family. Say somebody had a mom who was not that great, who wasn't very loving. I may have multiple generations coming through explaining why people behave the way they did, and then also asking for forgiveness. And that forgiveness is not for them, but for the person sitting for the reading, so that they can free up their heart. Mm-hmm. Because the only person is hurting is the person holding the grudge. And it's amazing. Right. It really is amazing. Mm-hmm.
Rhonda or Laura, if you want to join us, you can.
We would love to have you join us. And Eileen, you have had some experiences as well with people on the other side, correct?
Correct.
Did you want to share that, or sure. It's okay if you don't want to?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have her gifts, but there was a young girl that was in a car accident this summer on 95. Mm-hmm. And what was so bizarre about it is I don't know who she is. And one day when I was driving by where she had passed, my radio started doing very bizarre things. And it wasn't my radio, it was actually my CD. And she kept putting it on this one song, which was bizarre. And then it went away after I wasn't in that spot. And then for several days that week, every time I went to get the mail and had that CD on, it went berserk and crazy. And it hasn't happened since. But it was just strange. Oh, and then I was at home actually texting her sister back and forth, because we got in touch after this. And my cable box went crazy, but nothing else in the house did. So it was just bizarre things that happened around the time that she passed. But,
well, and you ended up reaching out to her and to the sister and the family, mm-hmm. and helping them in some way, correct?
I sent them Karen's book.
I forgot about that part, but thank you.
I sent the young girl, and they're still having a lot of trouble. The mother's having a very hard time with it, which is understandable. It's understandable.
Well, and the reason that they had this young girl, and the accident had happened close to the area of your work, correct?
It happened at the Newtown Yardley exit, where my mm-hmm. My place is Newtown Health and Wellness. At Newtown Yardley is my road my business is on.
Okay, and the reason that this young girl had kind of latched on to Eileen and was trying to get her attention is because Eileen has these gifts, and I call it having your light on, where our guys and gals in spirit, when they see this particular glow that comes from people who are in touch with their gifts, or they have the gifts and they're open and aware, then they will try to get your attention because they know that you can hear them and see them. And apparently this young woman wanted to get a message through to her family, letting them know that she was okay. And there was also something about an audition tape as well.
She had auditioned at American Idol, and I had connections where I knew someone that knew one of the producers of American Idol that actually was a scouts and finds new talent. So I got them in touch with her.
Yes. So that was also another reason why Eileen was chosen for that, because of the connections that she had. It absolutely amazes me.
It's funny. Her favorite color was purple, and my whole entire yoga studio is painted purple. It's weird stuff. weird.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing your story, Eileen. That's awesome. And yours, Jamie. I love to hear your stories too. Those are great.
Thanks. Well, you did not do this as a business full time forever. So when did you transition from, I know I have this gift, to now I'm going to use it?
Okay. Well, and that was really when I had my wake up call, and I had a moment of awakening for me to my gifts, which happened at the perfect time. For me, I had worked as a marketing manager for many years, and my best friend, Michelle, came through in a reading that another medium was giving. And she said to me that I'm supposed to heal the people, the planet, and the environment. I'm saying, what is that? I'm not in the Peace Corps. I have no idea what that means. And I ended up getting clarity from another medium, Joshua Barber. He's now in Florida at this time. But he told me, he said, don't you realize that you're a light worker? And I said, well, what does that mean? And he said, well, you're someone who works within the light of God. And for whatever reason, when he said that, I said, oh my God, I absolutely know without a doubt that I am a medium and that this is my calling. And at the very next day, I decided to really open up my own business on a part-time basis. And it was very interesting because my day job as a marketing manager, I want to say it was maybe 8 months or more after that, I had a feeling that I was going to be laid off, that it was coming. And I even purchased a new laptop and an iPhone. I kept getting the message, just be prepared. 2 days after I had picked those up, I was laid off from my job, and I knew it was just time. It was time for me to go all the way, jump in, take the leap of faith. Within 1 day, I was working on my book, How Have You Loved? I told you, moss does not grow on me. I just don't sit still. And I just went with it all the way. And it's been an amazing journey since then. And I've had a lot of wonderful support. And of course, Network Now is awesome because I've met a lot of wonderful, powerful women who are just incredible entrepreneurs. Very inspiring.
It is a great group of women. I agree.
Mm-hmm, with a great leader.
Oh,
I will add that too.
Thank you.
So, and it's when you know in your heart, when you have that calling, there's no question in your mind. And not everybody gets that, but I definitely had it for mine. And I've had some times where, it's been a little hard, but I still keep, keeping the faith and moving forward with what I do and hoping to help as many people as possible with my gifts.
That's great. All right. This is going to be a totally idiotic question, but
no question.
Do you feel like people are watching you all the time?
Oh, yes. and yes, I do. But I do tell people this. They don't bother me unless it's extremely important. If I'm not sitting down doing a reading, they're not bothering me. But I don't turn my light off. I actually welcome them giving me information or helping me with my life. And they certainly can't give me everything, and they don't. I still need to do things on my own as well. But I tell people, when your loved ones visit you and things like that, don't worry about the bathroom or the bedroom. They do not care about private moments, okay? They don't see us that way. And, they see us more as spirit and energy. I mean, they do see what we do and things like that, but they really don't care about that kind of stuff. So you don't have to be self-conscious about it.
Karen, do you find more skeptics or more people that are open to this?
Actually, you would probably be surprised by the number of believers. Okay. I rarely get people who are skeptical. And it's funny, as time has gone on, there have been less and less people that I've come across that are like that. And I think it's because of the energy that I put out is what I draw to me, which I'm putting out the healing and the love and the positive energy. And that's who I am drawing towards me. It doesn't mean that I don't run across people that have that skepticism. Again, it's okay. And it's up to them about whether or not they want to take that leap of faith and believe. And I tell them too, when I'm bringing through information that is, detailed about their loved ones, I say, I don't know how else to explain this to you about how I know this information. Sometimes they give me information, the loved ones in spirit, that the person that's sitting with me for the reading doesn't even know. So it's not like I'm reading minds or anything like that either. So it doesn't happen that way. It really is a communication from another dimension, from the other side. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, some people, there are a few people that are atheists, right? They don't believe in God, But
Sure.
but to some people, God is the higher power, and but there's no proof. It's what you believe, right?
It depends on who you talk to. And people, like I said, everybody has their own opinions and their own experiences. And that's important for everybody here on Earth. And it's wonderful that we have our differences so that we have intelligent debates. For me, I would have to say hands down that I do know that God exists because I've actually talked to God. This would have to be a blab for another day where I would tell you about those experiences that I've had with God, 3 of them, very powerful in my lifetime. And some people shy away from the word God and use higher power, the creator. It doesn't matter what you call the higher power. There really is one.
But perhaps it's the same thing about being open to it, and then you can hear it, feel it, experience it. It's the same as you were saying earlier about spirits.
Absolutely. And I do believe that. And, there is a great quote by Henry Ford that says, if you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right. Mm-hmm. And it's just saying that, the thoughts and the beliefs that you have within yourself do shape and mold your life.
Right.
And it's not that I'm, just because I believe this, it exists and that I'm making it up in my mind. There's no way I'd be able to have these wonderful details about people.
But you're open to it so you can receive it.
Absolutely. Right. Absolutely.
Is it more when people say, I guess where my struggle comes from about death and life here, is that when someone loses someone that they love close to them, they're sad that they're gone because you can't touch them anymore, talk to them anymore in a physical sense.
Yes.
So some people will say, oh, I was lucky my child survived, but your child got shot. So how do you explain, why do certain people get chosen to, like, if it's why are we so upset that they passed away if it's a wonderful place and they're, people say, oh, you're in a better place now.
Well, first of all, Earth is hard. And I consider this, Earth is like the accelerated course for soul evolution. Mm-hmm. We come down here for some really hard lessons. And on Earth, negativity exists more than it does in heaven. We're down here for very important reasons, and that's to help our souls grow. Those soul contracts that I was talking about before, where we agree to have certain things happen, may also include having a child or a loved one leave this earth at a young age, or to have something tragic happen, or to have a disease like cancer, where people around them, as well as the person, have to learn certain lessons about how to deal with these kind of tragedies, how to extend kindness and compassion, and also with love. So all of that's tied into the soul contracts. And, when someone is taken away from us, even I, as a medium, even though I talk to my loved ones in spirit, mm-hmm. I definitely still grieve because I can't hold them or touch them in the physical sense, and I can't go and hang out with them or, even sit on the couch and just talk or whatever. There is that sadness of the physical parting, even though we have the ability to continue to communicate with them. And we do know that we do exist beyond here. We exist in a spiritual form. For me, I would have to assume that my grieving is probably a lot less than most people's because I am able to communicate with them readily. And I've seen heaven and I know where we go, but it doesn't mean that I still don't get a little upset.
Right.
It's nice.
Because I look at that girl who passed away at 20 and she had her whole life ahead of her to do great things, and her life is taking so short. So that's.
Well, yes. And again, with that, it's the soul lessons that are all tied into that and the agreements that we had made. And for the people that are still here, they may have a lot of lessons tied into what, her passing, being able to accept and to move forward from such a tragic event. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's never just one lesson or just one person involved. It's usually multiple people. And it is for our benefit to learn and grow as souls. I've been through a lot of tragic experiences in my life. And I'm able to look at those really bad experiences and say, you know what, I'm actually grateful for what had happened because, it has made me more passionate, more compassionate, more empathetic with people. Would I want to go through that again or wish it on anybody else? No. but it has made me who I am, and for that I am grateful. So there's always a positive reason for any negative circumstance.
Then the people that say they thought they passed, but then they came back, are you saying their life lessons weren't done yet? There was something else they had to do here, so God didn't take them yet?
What do you mean, reincarnated?
No, like if someone's in the hospital and they say that they did die on the table, but they came back.
Oh, yeah. Yes, it wasn't their time. And that is called a near-death experience, or an NDE. And a lot of times those are spiritually moving for people. And that's why they needed to go through it, because they needed to see that heaven was there. And they needed to see that, and by the way, thanks for all the things you're sending there.
Props.
Thank you. I love it. Sometimes they need to have that spiritual experience. So maybe they were really skeptical before something like this happened. And then they have this near-death experience, and all of a sudden they realize, oh my goodness, that there is something else beyond this. And they do go and visit heaven's waiting room when they have a near-death experience. And people who are, if they are in a coma, or if they are non-responsive, meaning Alzheimer's, something like that, they also go to heaven's waiting room. But with regard to, why they come back, they still have things to do. They still have a lot to do. And it may be to share their experiences with others, including their family.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Rhonda wants to know if you can do readings over the phone.
Yes, I do readings over the phone. I do readings over Skype, and also in person. I'm based in Horsham, PA. And, with Skype, I love the fact that I did a reading to the Philippines with a woman over Skype. And I tell people, even if we are on the phone rather than Skype or me seeing you in person, I don't need to see you in order to give you a reading. I describe everything that's going on my end. And I laugh because I was giving a reading to a lady in Arizona. One time we were on the phone, and her husband was coming through, and I was describing lots of things about him. And then all of a sudden he was showing me an image of her, the woman on the phone with me. And I said, by the way, do you have long black hair down to your waist? It's straight. And I described what she looked like. And she said, oh my God, how did you know that? And I said, well, he's showing me what you look like and letting me know, to tell you that he is there with you. Mm-hmm. And the way to do that was to give me the image of her in her kitchen. And, so I don't need to see people physically in order to see.
Right.
It's amazing. Mm-hmm. It is. It's really, I love the way it works.
How can someone prepare for a reading?
Well, first and foremost, I tell people when you're going to any medium, keep an open mind, because you never know who is going to be coming through for you. And I know some people say, oh, I just want to hear from my mom. Well, if you have that kind of mindset that you only want to hear from your mom, then you may miss out on your best friend or your father or someone else that's coming through. So first and foremost, keep an open mind about who will be coming through. The other part of it that I tell people, you want to have a clear mind. You don't want to come when you're really tired, definitely not inebriated. Okay. That doesn't help you, but just relax. And I have on my website, I have several short articles and a brief video that tell you about how you can prepare, and also to know how your loved ones in spirit communicate with me. The more you understand that and know that, the more you can get out of your reading.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else have any other questions for Karen?
Loving the props there. Thanks, everybody.
Funny.
Yeah, they don't accumulate though. It's just for this one blab. But
no, I love it. It's great. It's awesome to see. I appreciate it.
Well, high five, applause. Sure.
Thank you. Thank you. And if anybody wants to learn more about mediumship and the way that it works, you can visit my website, which is healingspiritwithlove.com. I left off the W's, Jamie. And that's healing, as in making people feel better. So HEALING. Did I spell that right? SPIRIT with WITH love, LOVE. And I'm spirit medium Karen Hluchan.
Thank you.
Yeah,
all right.
Karen joined me today because she's a premium member of Network Now. And if any of the Network Now premiums would like to have an interview with me to share their information about what they do and how they impact the world, just let me know. I'm going to type in my website too, just for fun.
Awesome.
Who is that one person giving so many classes?
I know. I'm like, yay, look at the applause.
That is
Wild card.
It's a woman.
That's awesome. Thank you, darling.
Boomy? Benjamin?
Yeah.
She says she loves you.
And I love everybody. I really do. Everybody.
It's awesome.
Awesome. Both here and in spirit. So, and thank you, Jamie. This has been really awesome.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate it. And Eileen and everyone else that has come to join us today. If you have any further questions, I do have a contact on my website. So you can go there and you can reach out if you're also interested in a reading. I do those as well.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks, Karen.
Thanks. And everybody have a great day.
Bye.